About to leave, already packing. Come with me, I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions. We'll get away, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out. Die with my own doubts. Be free with me. Let's go, let's be free with me.
Dude, Sony finally did it. They finally gave us what we wanted. Took them long enough. I just want you guys to know, if this all goes wrong with this skateboard, that this is my first time vlogging. And this is my first time using the skateboard too. No, actually I'm lying. It's my second time using the skateboard, aside from the day that I picked it up. So it's about 90 degrees out here, and this camera hasn't given me any overheating issues whatsoever. I've been recording for about 45 minutes outside right now. I don't know. A lot cooler than yesterday, that's for sure. This is the Sony ZV-1. It's Sony's newest camera aimed directly at vloggers, with a 20 megapixel sensor that has a built-in ND filter, 24 to 70mm f1.8 Zeiss lens that's tied together by the remarkable 1-inch CMOS sensor. You can shoot up to 4K 30 frames per second while using its new flip-out screen and its directional microphone that comes with its own windscreen. The Sony RX100 series cameras have been around for a long time, but none of them were really geared towards vlogging. People love them because of the image quality, the depth of field, and the insane autofocus that came packaged into a camera that could easily fit into your pocket. I personally waited to get a compact camera, and I'm really glad I did. Sony definitely listened this time around, but they didn't stop with giving every YouTuber just what they wanted. They took it a step further. The flip-out screen itself can control when the camera turns on and off. The windscreen is in a great spot, and it works very well in those noisier situations. They even added a nice grip to the front of the ZV-1 that makes this camera feel much more natural in your hands, which is perfect if you don't plan on using it with the Vloggers package that you can pick up with this camera. For ports, it has a micro HDMI, microphone in audio port, and a micro USB port. It runs on the same MPB-X1 batteries that the RX100 series cameras use, so you don't have to worry about buying a different battery if you have a ton of those laying around and you plan on making the switch. Battery life, however, is absolutely insane with this camera. I forgot to shut it off and noticed that it was still recording over an hour later, even when recording footage in 4K. And not only that, I also didn't run into any overheating issues with this camera, which is crazy for a camera this size that's recording 4K. The menu is super easy to navigate and super easy to use. If you've been a Sony user all along, you'll have no trouble flying through the different functions on this camera. Even those that are new to Sony will love how easy it is to set up this camera right out of the box. Speaking of the box, inside with this camera you also get a rechargeable battery pack, which is the MPB-X1 battery, the micro USB cable, a windscreen, and a windscreen adapter along with the instruction manual. Eye autofocus is fantastic, and this camera now sports a beauty mode and different levels of beauty to choose from that glows up your face as if you were reborn again. You guys know obviously I don't need this, but it's nice to have for those of you out there that feel you need it. For background blur, if you guys aren't familiar with setting apertures and you don't know how to play with all of those functions, and you just want one simple button to create that background blur to give you that shallow depth of field, Sony's got you covered with the ZV-1. It has a nice background refocus and focus button that sits right on top of the camera. Even if you want multiple subjects in the photo, say friends or family, all you have to do is hit one button, and now the aperture adjusts, and they're in the frame with you while still getting you that background blur, which is super cool. It has another awesome feature that's called Product Showcase. So if you plan on reviewing tech or anything that you need instantly autofocused, the camera turns off the autofocus and the stabilization, and it focuses in on whatever is closest to the lens within that minimal 5cm focal distance. The Vlogger kit is super dope and very easy to use. You can pick it up for $150, and it works as a remote through Bluetooth while doubling as a stand. You get a shutter and record button, along with a button to customize whatever you like using the most on this camera. If you don't like the built-in microphone that comes with this camera, you can go ahead and attach any external microphone to this camera. Personally, I love being wireless. I love using the Rode Wireless Go. Let's go outside and test out the Rode Wireless Go quality versus the quality you get of the microphone that's built into this camera. This is what the microphone quality sounds like with the Rode Wireless Go microphone. This is what the microphone quality sounds like with the Sony ZV-1 built-in microphone. Once again, this is what the microphone quality sounds like with the Sony ZV-1. Look at the drone. That doesn't help. Good God. Once again, this is what the microphone quality sounds like with the Sony ZV-1 built-in microphone on this camera. This is what the microphone quality sounds like with the Sony ZV-1 microphone that's built into this camera. Once again, this is what the microphone quality sounds like with the Sony ZV-1 microphone that's built into this camera. Once again, this is what the microphone quality sounds like with the Rode Wireless Go microphone. Now, I don't have the windscreen adapter on the Rode Wireless Go, so you guys are gonna hear some wind. But just to give you an idea of what the microphone quality compares like with the Rode Wireless Go versus the internal microphone on the ZV-1, this is what the microphone quality sounds like. This is what the microphone quality sounds like with the Rode Wireless Go microphone attached to the Sony ZV-1. Once again, this is what the Rode Wireless Go microphone sounds like attached to the Sony ZV-1 camera. Now, another cool feature of this camera is when you're recording, it actually illuminates in red on the front of the camera. You see a small dot so you know when you're actually recording, which could be a good thing. Sometimes if you start recording over 30 minutes with other cameras, you have no idea when you're gonna hit 30 minutes or when you're actually recording. Sometimes you forget to hit record. I've done it multiple times, whether you guys are using a remote control or the actual button on the camera. Sometimes you just forget, and it's nice to have that red button illuminated on the front of the camera to let you know when you're actually recording. I almost got attacked by a wolverine. He didn't want the smoke, so he took off, but yeah. Thought I should mention that for you guys. It's like really hot out here. And then you have the built-in ND filter for those much brighter scenarios, which works very good. The slow-mo video quality is amazing as well. It has 3 different settings for its high frame rate recording to choose from. I mean, guys, this camera does it all for a price tag of $750. Sony, you guys really outdid yourselves this time. I'm actually surprised at how really well the active stabilization works on this camera when it's turned on. It works really well. Battery life's phenomenal. Right now, as you guys can see, I have the Vivitar lens attached to the camera, so it makes it much, much wider. I am using a switch pod too, which helps even more, but just want to give you guys an idea of what the lens attachment looks like and how much wider it looks like when you guys use the Vivitar lens attachment that I did leave down below in the description for you guys. If you want to use it with that 52mm thread adapter that you guys can go ahead and attach to the camera. And this is what it looks like without the Vivitar lens attachment and the switch pod. You see that you have a much more narrow crop with this lens on this camera. Obviously, if you guys take away the switch pod, it'll be even worse. It'll be probably like, I don't know, right here. But just to give you an idea, this is what it looks like without the lens attachment as far as crop goes with this camera when you have the active stabilization turned on. Now, when I stream the Twitch, personally, I just connect my Elgato Cam Link to my Sony a7S II up in the game room, then broadcast that footage through OBS right onto Twitch as an overlay over my gameplay. However, Sony is now working on a special software that will eliminate the need for the Elgato Cam Link. Now, I know Canon did something like this too recently, but it was nothing but problems, so we'll just have to wait and see if it actually works. Active stabilization with this camera works very well. It does, however, give you a 15% crop, which does make it tight when vlogging, especially when you have a head that's as big as mine. However, there is a fix for this now. When I use this camera with the switch pod, it's far enough out that even with that crop, it still works very well. But if it's still not enough width, you can go ahead and pick up the 52mm ring adapter and the Vivitar lens that I have in the description below, and you can mount it to the front of the camera, which makes the width absolutely perfect and makes this one of the best vlogging cameras that's ever been created. Now, I understand why Sony didn't want to make the lens wider, because if they made the lens wider, then they'd have to make the camera bigger, and then at that point the camera wouldn't fit in your pocket. So I completely understand. I don't mind that whatsoever. Sony, I really like this camera. Thank you guys so much for listening to all of us. This is going to be perfect going forward for me, and I feel like there's so much that this camera offers that we didn't even ask for a price of $750 is just absolutely insane. Now, with all that being said, there is one downside to this camera. I found one con, and that is when this camera is connected to the Vloggers kit or when it's connected to a tripod, there is no way of accessing the SD card or the battery in the compartment, which might be a bummer for some of you guys out there, but I feel like with everything that's included in this camera, there's nothing really to complain about. That's the only thing I found that was wrong with this camera. Other than that, Sony, fantastic job. Thank you guys so much. This is absolutely amazing. I really look forward to creating footage with this camera in the future. Now, if you guys would like to go ahead and purchase the Sony ZV-1 and support the channel at the same time with no extra cost to you guys, I will leave this camera linked down below in the description for you guys, along with all the other accessories that we went over in this video. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, whatever it is, make sure you guys go ahead and drop them down below in the comments section for me. If you guys are new to the channel, please make sure you guys subscribe. And if you guys did end up liking this video, please make sure you guys go ahead and destroy that like button for me. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Not looking back, eyes on the freeway, Bonnie and Clyde, a classic cliche. We're on the run, this is what we waited for.